Hi, Daryl here again. Today I'm having another look at another electric car. So this one is a BMW i3 REX version, and this is an electric car which also has a small petrol engine in the back, so that if you want to take a very long journey without stopping to recharge the car, you can just continue driving using the petrol power generator as a backup. That way you can take long journeys. So this is quite an ideal car for people who just want to replace their ordinary everyday car with another ordinary everyday car that they can take the type of journeys that they're used to taking in their normal petrol car. Just before we go anywhere, I'll just show you what the car looks like on the inside. It's quite an interesting design. So here's just the dashboard. There's a big computer screen in the center console there, and there's another computer screen behind the steering wheel. So the car's been driven a few kilometers since it was recharged, and you can see that it has 114 kilometers of electric range and 139 kilometers of petrol range. So the car has a combined of 140 and about 115 something, 160 or 260 odd kilometers. So it has a reasonable range that you can drive it without having to stop if you want to use the combination of both types of energy. The car has this extensive BMW iDrive type thing, and you can have a look at various types of information about the car. And it has a dial down on the center console down here that you turn around this dial, and it allows you to control the different aspects of the car. This control here is a thing that allows you to set how economic the car is. So you can go this way, and it will set this Eco Pro Plus, which will limit the car's air conditioning and power usage in various ways. And in normal Eco Pro, it just provides better efficient driving. And the standard mode, which it defaults to each time the thing starts up, is the comfort mode, which allows all the air conditioning and everything to run completely in an unlimited way, in a non-restricted way. So I'm going to drive it in Eco Pro, which is the middle setting.
Navigation is not active.
Okay. Let's see if I can work out how to set a destination. Just panning around on the map and scrolling. And set a location. There's a cafe, I don't know, 20 kilometers from where I live. I'm going to just set that as a destination. Bit of luck. Change map view, exit, start guidance. Start guidance. It's 3 minutes to 3. It thinks it's going to take me half an hour to go 28 kilometers. That's over a bit of a hilly road, so it'll be an interesting drive. Okay, so here we go. Bit of driving again. It's 30 kilometers per hour. Oh, quite a lot of power. Drive conservatively. Now, this car comes to a complete halt if you take your foot off the accelerator. It has quite a good bit of speed pickup when you press the accelerator. When you take your foot off the accelerator, the car tries to regenerate power to put back in the battery, so you slow down quite suddenly compared with a normal kind of automatic car that's designed to coast when you take your foot off the accelerator. Some traffic lights here. The car has this kind of like the electric car slight quiet whine instead of the petrol engine noises you experience in most cars. There's a learner driver in front of me who's, yeah, they're doing okay. Learning how to change lane. This road at the moment has 2 lanes in each direction. Suburban road with a 50 kilometre, now changing to a 70 kilometre speed limit. Just getting into the 100k zone, driving 80 kilometres per hour, 84, 85. So trying to understand whether the cabin noise inside the car is bad or not. This road is asphalt chip seal kind of road. It's a well-worn road. The chip seal's quite smooth and it doesn't have a lot of tyre noise, which is good. With some tyres on some cars make the cabin interior very noisy. You get a lot of rumble in your ride, and if you take a long drive, a few hours of driving on chip seal, depending on what type of tyres you have in your car, it can be a very noisy experience. There's just in my neighbourhood, they've just been building a new expressway through the suburbs, and we have to negotiate a lot of road cone traffic area. You can see in my other videos about the building of the expressway, but the speed limit on this bit here is 50 kilometres per hour at the moment. There's some workers working on the road right now. Every time I go through the intersection layout's different, and now it's a roundabout today. A little bit of rough chip seal there. Alright, now we're back onto the nice smooth asphalt, and it's starting to rain, but a drizzle outside. Drive into the slow lane. So it's a 100 kilometre per hour divided expressway type road here. It has this very nice new smooth asphalt. It's really good driving on these new roads. When you drive on these roads, the efficiency graph, so I'm going at 97 on the dial, so probably 95 kilometres per hour, somewhere around there. So this is the kind of normal speed I'd be driving on this road, commuting or something, just on 100 kilometres per hour. A few wind gusts. So the driving range is saying 114 on the dial. Oh, it's a rumble strip line to stop people who are starting to fall asleep driving off the road. Let's see if I can enable some cruise control. Now this car has radar cruise control, so it will match the speed of the vehicle in front of me if I set the cruise control speed high. I'm just on 99 kilometres per hour currently. It can jump up and down in 1 kilometre per hour or 10 kilometre per hour presets when you change the cruise control, which I think is very good. I'm going going to take the twisty windy hill road and drive on the twisty windy hill and go and check out the view at the top of the hill, which is a very enjoyable place about living in the area where I live. Now the good thing about this sort of one pedal driving mode with electric cars is that if you're driving on a twisty windy road and you come up to a sort of suddenly sharper turn, the moment that you take your foot off the accelerator, the car starts to slow down. You get an additional, second or half second of braking in before you actually get your foot over to the brake pedal. And this car is really built so that you can drive it without even using the brake pedal at all. People really enjoy their motorcycle commutes over this twisty windy hill road. Yeah, driving around these windy corners it's a very sort of positive steering. I think this is where car reviewers comment on understeer and oversteer. I think this car seems well balanced. This drive probably would not be good for passengers on this car. I think it would be a bit wobbly, and that's if you're the kind of passengers who are prone to motion sickness. This is not a good way to drive. I'm just going to pull over and stop at the rest area because it's got an excellent view. All right. Now, to press the park button and put the brake on and turn the power off. And never remember where the power is. Oh, the power is start stop. It's windy out there, and we had the beautiful plastic chippy packet blowing around. I'll just show you see the back seats of this car. Got my jacket and stuff there, but they have this really cool pattern stitched into the seats there. I think it's quite nice. And show you the photos of the outside of the car as well. And now I'm going to make like James Cook and see if I can find a cup of coffee. Okay, so here's the outside of the car, just so that you know what I'm talking about. The rear door opens backwards, which gives you a clear open space to get in and out of the car. It actually makes it very easy for adults and children to get into both the front seats and the back seats without having to adjust the front seat, so you can easily get in. It's very well thought out. So now I'm just going to say what my conclusions of the car were and a few points of note about the car. So the car is really fast, it's really quiet, it's very quick. It's got a 125 kilowatt electric motor, and I never ran it on the petrol mode at all. This one's a range extended car, and this i3 comes in REX version with range extender and a non-REX version. And then secondly, it comes with two different types of batteries. You can get a 60 amp hour and I think the other one's 90 amp hour battery. And so the smaller battery, which is the kind of common one, gives you around 140 kilometers of range or 120 kilometers of range. It depends how you drive. You might be able to extend it out to 160 kilometers of range if you drive carefully, whereas the other larger size battery will easily give you around 200 kilometers of driving range. Now, there's just a picture there. It has a display with a circle around on the map, and it shows you how far you can go before it expects the battery to run out. I took this car to kind of an open day where I took people for drives in the car. So I actually had the car for about 3 days, and I drove it quite a lot. I think I drove around 200 kilometers in the time that I had the car, and I fast charged the car two times just to try out the fast charger and see how fast charging went, because in New Zealand there's a fast charging network, which is these fast chargers I'm showing you in the background here. And this network goes pretty much all through the North Island, and by the end of 2017 it should go all around the country. You'll be able to drive a car like this car just about anywhere in New Zealand on electric mode. So the main cities of Wellington, Christchurch and Auckland and Hamilton have lots of chargers around them, so you can drive all around the suburbs and the city and go anywhere, and if you need a bit more power you can stop and recharge the car along the way. While I was out and about, I went out and I plugged the car in to fast charge it right in the middle of the city in Wellington, and I went out and got some takeaway food while I was waiting for the car to charge. But it only took me about 10 or 11 minutes to get some takeaway food, and in that 10 or 11 minutes the car recharged with around 60 kilometers of range from memory, which was more than enough for me to drive back home again at the end of the day. So that was quite fun. So I really enjoyed going to the open day and taking people for rides in the car and explaining to people how the car worked and how it could practically work for them. So the car is overall very good. I would totally recommend buying this car. If you're in the market for a car that's say 45,000 New Zealand dollars up to 60,000 New Zealand dollars, this is a great electric car. This car, you can drive it all around the country and fast charge using these fast chargers. And if the fast chargers are too far apart, or you're going to places that just aren't serviced by fast chargers, this car will just automatically go over into hybrid electric mode, where a little tiny petrol engine under the back of the car will start up, and it will supply you with power to get you to where you want to go until you can get to the next charger and plug in. Now the other thing about all electric cars is they're designed to plug in with mains at home. So in New Zealand, because we have 230 volt outlets standard in all of our garages and around our houses, we can just plug in these cars and recharge them overnight. This car will generally recharge in about 10 hours overnight. So if you use this to do your daily commuting and daily errands, even if you run the battery to all the way flat, there will be sufficient time overnight in 10 hours to recharge the car completely. Now if you want to charge the car a tiny bit quicker at home, perhaps you might be able to bring this down to 5 or 6 hours by getting a very specially installed car charging station installed in your house. These car charging stations cost around $2,000, maybe $1,500. They vary, but the cars are supplied with a power outlet that just allows you to plug in your garage at home, and you can use that charger for your daily charging. So the car is really great. I'm looking for an electric car to buy at the moment, and this car is a little bit out of my price range, because I think the cheapest one I've seen was about $39,000, but it didn't come with a fast charge connector, so you could actually only plug it in, and also it was the electric only version, so you could actually only plug it in when you're at home. So you couldn't really use this for taking long journeys, because you wouldn't be able to fast charge it along the way. By contrast, Tesla cars, you can have such huge batteries that you can drive them anywhere you want. So there's a few photos just included here showing you the different types of chargers, but in New Zealand you have to be careful when you're buying an i3, because it might come with different power connectors. So the car I was driving has a J1772 connector for charging at home, and it has a ChargeMo DC fast charging connector that allows you to charge it when you're out and about, and you can recharge the car in about 20 minutes at the side of the road at the charge stations that are throughout New Zealand. So this car is totally a practical replacement car for a family only car. And the other point on it, as a family car, it actually only seats 4 people. There's no way, there's no safety belts for 5 people in this car, so you can't use this car if you've got a 5-person family. If you've got a 4-person family, on the other hand, it's totally practical everyday car. So yeah, I would recommend this car. It's out of my buying price range. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching my video. You got all this way through. Please like and subscribe, that helps a lot. Ask me any questions that, if there are any details that I missed in the video, ask me any questions and I can answer those in the queries. And I'd like to say bonjour to all my French watchers who I seem to have a lot of people watching my videos in France, so thanks very much for watching.